Hi, thanks for tuning in. Here we are. We're going to talk about some things related to change. So, in the clinic, we're often talking about changing your body and how you move. But here we're talking about how to change your mind. You have to change your mind with your body. That's a very important part of change because one thing won't change without the other. So, there's a few things I'd like to discuss with you, and I've made this because in the clinic, we often simply you don't have enough time because we're trying to concentrate on other things. And time is valuable, time is precious, time's expensive. We all know. So, first of all, I like to create a safe space between me and you. So, in asking for that, I ask that there's no judgment on anything I say and no repercussions, and that there is unconditional love between us. So, we're going to be talking about neuroplasticity and how to change how our brain works in order to upgrade our systems for living. Sometimes we have these old systems, they're outdated, they aren't really working for us anymore. This is all about trying to upgrade that, and you're to try and go ahead with this while you change your body. Uh, it comes through an intentional practice. So I'm going to be talking about all this stuff and through this mind-body connection and how one thing can hold the other back. So super important. The other stuff we'll probably talk about in other videos, so just bear with me. You can think about your mind as a garden. So think about this garden on the left, and this is where I was. So my garden had weeds all over it, had negative thoughts, negative patterns, poor beliefs. It had these weeds everywhere. And what do weeds do? They reproduce. So weeds make more weeds, and the weeds you tend to overtake these lovely plants. The weeds grow quickly. They grow without you knowing them, and they come up. Now, to get a weed out of your garden often isn't that easy because they just keep coming back, right? So to get the weed, you have to pluck it from the root. And the tricky thing is with your thoughts, they've actually shown that these negative thoughts, negative behaviors, negative attitudes, they never really go. So they're always there. So the best thing we can do is try to grow positive, stronger thoughts. So we grow nice plants here next to them. And the goal for me is to try to help you do this. So the brain is amazing. We all know this. The brain has so many cool functions and we don't know anything about it. Compared to what it is, we know nothing. There is so much more to know, but we do know that it is an interlinking hierarchical cortical system, and the coolest thing is that it is adaptable to change forever. So that means even if you're 99 years old, you can still change your brain, make new habits, unlearn old habits. That goes with your body, and your body will replenish. And so even if you regret what you did 20 years ago, or like 10 years ago, you used to have poor habits, you used to put bad stuff in your body, it doesn't matter because you can regenerate a new body as long as you start now. So there's a few really important keys to changing, and the first thing is intentional practice. So intentional practice is pretty much trying to live in the present moment and creating an intention to change. So what happens is neurons that fire together will wire together. So it's a little bit like learning an instrument. I don't know if you've ever tried to learn an instrument or if you've ever tried to learn to ride a bike or learn to ski, but the first time you don't know what you're doing. You feel unco, you don't really know what your fingers should do, you don't know what your legs should do. It feels really abnormal. You keep practicing and then you can ski, you can play guitar, you can do whatever you want, you can drive your car. it's the same principle for learning new skills. So it feels weird at the start, it feels like it's not normal, but keep at it and it'll become a pattern. And the idea is you want these patterns to overcome these negative patterns. It takes time, so you just have to continue with it. You have to bear with yourself and just crack on. We have almost 100 billion nerve cells. 100 billion. That's a lot. So that's like the Milky Way. That's massive. You even if you think you've had some your brain damage from bad habits, or you've done something you're not too happy about in the past, it doesn't really matter, because there's so many nerve cells that we can create so many different pathways, and the brain is very adaptable to this change. So there's always hope. So intention is what we're going for here. Intention creates your reality. So if our brain is on autopilot, we're going to run our old systems. So you can't actually create any new patterns or new ways of living if you're running your brain in the past or the future. You need to be in the present to create new strategies, new emotions, new ways of living. That is the most important part of what we're going over today. Now, a lot of people say this is really, really hard. I can't be present. I can't meditate. I can't be mindful. It is hard, especially at the start. It's like a muscle. You have to work it out. You have to continuously work that muscle. There's a few things you can do that will help this muscle. So a healthy mind is a healthy body. So everything you're putting into yourself is going into your mind, is going into your body, is going into your awareness. So you can't expect to be present and healthy and happy if you continuously eat McDonald's, or if you continuously eat poor foods, if you continuously drink. That's gonna put you into this low brain state, and then it's hard to come back. Everything you do has a reaction. That is the key. So your nutrition is all about trying to find a good balance. Avoid sugars, eat healthy food, vegetables. Everyone says they eat lots of fruit. Fruit has lots of sugar, so be careful with fruit. It's good to eat fruit, but just not lots of it. And other things are quite obvious. I'm a vegetarian. I eat lots of vegetables, and that's how I found my diet has increased. But you have to be careful with protein. So to each their own, and we're not doing a talk on nutrition here, and I'm sure you all know how to eat healthy. Supplementation's quite big, so I recommend these supplements because I don't think we get enough omega-3s because we don't even eat enough fish. We live in Canada, so you eat vitamin D. Multivitamin, a lot of people think everyone should take because we aren't replenishing the nutrients in farms. And the most important thing is to try and get some mindfulness meditation. So our brain has two waves. You have these like high meditation waves, and you have these low autopilot I just keep plodding on waves. So mindfulness can get you from here to here and get that brain cracking over. That can help create that intention and can help create these changes. You have to be persistent with it. It's not going to happen once or twice. It's going to happen over time. It's not like you go to the gym once and you work out, or you watch someone else work out and you're not going to get stronger. You have to do it consistently. Forgiveness and gratitude, I think, are the most important things. So if you're holding grudges against anyone, that's only holding you back. So if you think there's anyone in your life, or there's anyone you keep coming back to where they're holding you back from pushing on, you have to find a way to get over that. And I'll run you through a couple of tools later on, but if you can confront them, or not confront, but carefront, which we'll talk about, which is confrontation in a nice, meaningful, caring way, and get over your differences, it can be a really nice way to move forward, because forgiveness will definitely help you get into this brain state where you can learn how to make these changes. And often your your body won't be able to change unless your brain can change. So if your brain is here, your body's going to have a hard time to press up. I hope that makes sense. Yes? Okay, finding triggers is important. So triggers will make you live in this live in yesterday or live in tomorrow, or will cause a stress response. So we have two memory systems. We have explicit memory, which is remembering what you did last week, remembering what you did yesterday, remembering what you had for breakfast, all that stuff. So it's got a chronology of time. Implicit memory is anything related to emotion. So if something happens in your day, it can trigger a memory. Even if you don't recall it, it can trigger an emotion. So this is what happens in your post-traumatic stress, where they have something that triggers the emotion and that'll fire the same memory, and then they live in this constant cycle of fear. So if you can find your triggers that trigger the stress, trigger that emotional response, you can overcome that with mindfulness. It's not as easy as it sounds, and there's many more tips. So one more thing is we have a right and a left brain. So your right brain is responsible for your meditation, love, music, creativity, pretty much all your nice things in life. Your left brain is responsible for like math, lists, analyzing what something is. So it's all that analyzer that continuously runs. I am very left brain. A lot of people are very left brain. So if you're left brain, that's okay. But if you have some hobbies or skills in music or art or dancing or something nice and creative, this is a good time to you pick that up again.